Hello, friends, and welcome to your lighting critique. We have two submissions on this Wednesday afternoon. We have Mohammad and Jenty. So let us get into it. So, Mohammad, good updates from here. We're going to get these two loaded up. Making some nice progress on both of these. I think so. First off, I think that you really good job of hitting the note on the specularity on the skin. Her shaping is looking great. It's just a little bit too strong now, so now we can kind of peel it back a little bit. And I think that, but I think it's about halfway between what you had before and what you had now. Now, do you see how, and because this gives us really good structure, do you see how we're picking up shapes in here and kind of this triangle here and then extra highlights and just more nuanced detail into her skin tones? And that's really great. I'd like to see more of that on him. Because right now there's still just kind of broad shapes and like a weird hard line there. I'm not quite sure what that is, but reducing the value of it, but everything that you did to get to this point is really good. It's just a matter of getting that on him. Now, one thing about it is, I'm actually just seeing this now, a lot of hard shadows down here by your neck. So it's going to be a matter of balancing that out in terms of, it would basically be you got to figure out a way to, it might involve increasing the radius of the light to get it to not be so sharp, but the bigger one is making sure that that light is not emitting diffuse value, that it's only emitting specular value. That will help that out a lot too, because then that'll just make all the diffuse light go away, and it'll just be, and then maybe tying it into her skin. The only thing that's complicated is the position of the light in this. And with her hair, you're just going to get more harder lines. And it might just be a matter of, you might just want to light linking it directly to her skin because it's not actually influencing her hair too much. So that would just be that there. All right, and then in terms of the couch, good job with the color. I would actually shift it slightly. So I did this version of it. I would just desaturate it and push it a little bit more blue, just to kind of keep it on the same color palette as the rest of the scene, but not matching too closely to her shirt color, and just kind of pushing that down. I think that serves the same purpose of allowing the character here to pop with toning it down. I'll just reduce the saturation because where it is now is the most saturated part of the image. You can see it there. All right, and then. Sorry, just thinking here. I think the key light on the character is a little bit too strong. We're kind of sizzling out at a couple of those points, getting a little bit blown out. So I just want to roll that back down. The other thing too, and just to give this a try. If you're ever in a room with a wooden floor on a bright sunny day, pay attention to how much light is bouncing back up on them. I'm just wondering if there isn't more opportunity in both the characters and more specifically this background here to get some more bounce light up in there. Also, even if you have to fake it in, let's get some contact shadow between this bookcase and the wall there. It feels like there's just a kind of a hard line back there, and I was thinking, so double check me on this, but one of the things about I was trying to figure out, there's something about this bookcase that didn't feel quite right to me, and I think it's the wood grain on this side. I feel like the wood grain would go vertically on this side and then horizontally on this side, because you're cutting with the length of the wood. Yeah, I think that might be causing that a little bit. So if you could just rotate those UVs or do whatever you got to do to get that to mix around. But before you do, just double check with some reference, so I'm not just talking off the cuff there. And then once you kind of do that, I think it would be worth it at this point to do a low res animation pass just to get some more idea of how this stuff's going to flow together, because these characters move around quite a bit in this shot. And you want to make sure that it's all making sense and it's all coming together all right for you there. All right, cool. Let's look on the next one here. We got Jenty. All right, cool. So the question, and a beautiful reference, by the way, really lovely stuff. The only question that I have about the reference is, are you just looking at this for color or overall style? Because it'd be kind of cool to make it like this painterly canvas style, but I won't give notes on that now until I know that that's what you want to do. Because if you're just looking for like color, shaping, reference, that's totally fine too. It's just a matter of getting that out. So biggest things I'm seeing here is the characters, dark over light. I'm seeing the shaping on this tree's looking really nice. It's very, very warm light. But the biggest thing is like when I kind of squint at the image, overall, there's like kind of a circle of interest kind of right in here. If you kind of like simple things like the light's hitting this tree and this tree back here, but you can see the illumination is way less on the back one than it is on the front one. So let's go ahead and see if we kind of have that same basic structure. And a good way to test it, I'll give you two good ways to test it. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer and drop a bit of black on it, and then switch the layering methodology from normal to color. And you can see the value range here. And again, it's brightest here in the middle, second, third. So it really is kind of a circle shape. The other thing that you can do is if you want to just make a copy of this and then blur it a bunch. That's another way to do it too, of just kind of like seeing where the brighter areas are too. Different ways of evaluating it. So, but I really like this layering the black over than looking at the color. So let's go ahead and do that with yours as well. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see the difference. So you see how this is kind of like really structured from out to in. This one here is kind of universal across the back, and there's not as much dynamic shaping towards the center there. So that would definitely be something that I would work on. Like you can see here how there's, they put more trees back there to kind of darken that down. You can do the same thing. You can put a mountain back there. You can duplicate this tree, rotate it, and stick it back there or something, just to kind of fill that in or anything. You can even do it in a matte painting if you really want to. But just something to get to decrease the value back behind here to match that reference. The other thing back here, that's not what I wanted to do. Back here, no, still going black. Do that color for a little bit. Back here, okay, there we go. All right, so you've got this warm light coming in here. I actually kind of like the multi-color thing that you got going on. I think that's really cool. I would kick it around too to make sure that, you really want to see the door and make that a big thing. So make sure you're kind of focusing on that. You've got some sharp shadows going on in the shadow area, so it's like a shadow on a shadow. So just check out what's happening there. There's some confusion for me around, like if I'm just focusing in on this space, there's some depth confusion to me. Like this is kind of layered over top of that, is like, and these branches are intersecting that. I think you can kind of space things out a little bit. So you could do stuff like, take this tree in the background, shift this over, shift this one over here, and then you can leave these pillars where they are. I would actually shift that one over to about here, shift that one here, and then maybe find another one to kind of put further back in the distance, like allow that to create some depth there. And again, one of these, one of the things with like these magical scenes is that you can also you can play with scale on stuff like this. So you can, like, depending on what you want, like if this is a full-size tree, then you can just throw a slight bit of depth of field in the background. If you want it to feel like a miniature, which I've seen some people do with this scene, it's kind of fun, you can do that as well and really push up the value of the depth of field blur to make it feel that way. But yeah, that's the position feels pretty good. Let's see if there's anything else about this guy that I wanted to say. Yeah, saturation's really orange and warm. You're matching that, and I think that's good. Step back and look at it here. But yeah, the biggest thing is just really centering us in on this door really feels like the central point of the image, and getting the light to kind of tell that story by illuminating on the door, kind of darkening it here, filling in this, definitely filling that too. Reconfigure this on the right hand side so it's just like layers back in space a little bit more. It's basically a tangent problem. We're getting like this looks like it could be the bark of that tree, but it's like not, but you don't, yeah. And then you're like, oh, I guess that's small. Like you don't really have a good sense of space. I think we'll start there and see where things go. One other thing you want to, if you really want to plus this up, take a look at some, if we look at the reference on the leaves here are a little bit different because they're further back, but like these kind of closer in the foreground, you would actually, if you get sunlight kind of hitting those, you would get a little bit of translucency through them. Although this will work itself out once you kind of fill that in, and same thing with those. Like a super dark leaf against a bright sky behind it doesn't quite feel right. So, but that should feel better once you get some darker values in there. All right, we will leave it off from there. Thank you everybody for posting, continuing. It's always a brave thing to put your work out there, so I appreciate everyone doing it. That is all for today, and I will see you all back again on Friday. All right, happy lighting, everybody.